All right, guys, welcome into another episode of the Queen City Soccer Show. I'm Cole Godfrey, joined as always by Level Up Luke. Luke, how you feeling?
I'm feeling a little bit better today, Cole. I'll tell you that that weekend was a little rough for a Sunday night game in the rain. That was something, man.
Yeah, it was definitely not the best performance from Charlotte FC that we've seen. We will discuss that, plus Charlotte Independence, plus Crown Legacy, plus Greenville Triumph. Today's episode is sponsored by SeatGeek, where if you use the promo code QCSPod, you will get $20 off of any ticket purchase, whether it's for Charlotte FC, whether it's for Luke Bryan, Taylor Swift, the Carolina Hurricanes. It does not matter. Whatever your purchase, if you use the promo code QCSPod, you will get $20 off of your purchase.
That's awesome,
And with
man.
that being said, Luke,
Can I use that for
yeah,
the Charlotte Independence at Atlanta United U.S. Open Cup Round 4?
as long as
Promo
on,
code
as long as it's
QCSPod.
on SeatGeek,
Oh, let's go.
as long as it's on SeatGeek, you're good to go.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
yeah, and
so
tell the folks.
unfortunately,
Yeah, let's tell the folks where they can find us. If you want to follow along with the podcast, make sure to like and subscribe on Spotify, Apple. Leave us a 5-star review. You can find us on Twitter at QCSPod, Insta at QCSPod _, YouTube and TikTok at QCSPod. And we're putting out content on all the different platforms that you know and love. So wherever it is that you enjoy spending your time doom scrolling, we will be there for you.
absolutely. Be sure to share with your friends if you're enjoying the content. We really, really appreciate everybody tuning in and listening and all the feedback and all the interactions that we have. It truly makes this community special. And I know I can speak for myself and say that I truly enjoy it and it makes this fun. Luke, with a transition of a lifetime, what was not fun was Sunday night in Charlotte. Let's get some of what was your pregame festivities like and leading up to the game. You know what was Level Up Luke out doing?
Yeah, man. I feel like I've kind of been doing some different things every year, and I'm kind of settling into my groove for this season. First year, I did a lot of the supporters lot tailgate. Last year, I did a lot of the French Quarter and Lotta Arcade across from Romare Bearden Park. That's still a great move. I still love stopping at Rhino Market before a game on my way to the stadium. But this year, I've switched it up a little bit. I'm getting that free parking by Hopfly, hanging out with the Charlotte Soccer Show boys. The limited releases, they've had releases from La Muerta, Brent Bronico, and I've heard some rumors that there may be an Ashley Westwood limited logger dropping in the next month or so. So the Hopfly guys really support Charlotte soccer. It's fun to hang out, see some of the gang there. I was hanging out with Reverend Burl, Chief Keefe, and some of the other folks over there. Carolina Reaper, of course, our friend Kevin, the Carolina Reaper, who we're going to have on the show very soon here. He's next up in our Superfan series. And so that was a blast getting to hang out with the boys and had a little date with me. First time Charlotte FC attendee. And what a day to be a first time Charlotte FC attendee. From those pregame festivities and the good vibes at Hopfly, we made our way to the stadium and the vibes were decidedly off. We still had the Pepis, we still had the anthem, but the enthusiasm was not there. And from where I was standing in the stands around midfield, you could just feel a lack of energy. The only high point that I can even acknowledge was that the tifo was insane. Our friends who work on those tifos really outdid themselves. We had a duck hunt theme from Nintendo, man. I used to play that game growing up. We had the dog holding the loon, like the NES Duck Hunt, and man, that was hilarious. I love that so much. That was the highest point of the night for me. What was your experience like? You were there as media. You were down on the field in the press box, and I think you had another first time attendee with you, huh?
I did. So, unfortunately, we didn't get to do any pregame festivities. We were stuck in traffic on I-85 for what seemed like forever. And we got there, we literally walked into Bank of America Stadium at 5:50-ish. But yeah, my wife, who was going to shoot some photography for us, she got to experience the press box and being on the field and all the things that go along with that. And really enjoyed it. She was very thrilled to not be out in the rain, in the cold. She dug that, which I'd have to agree with her. But yeah, it was one of those things where I wanted to get her there so she could go to Hot Fly and see where, and just because she's only ever been to the supporters lot, so she don't know about the French Quarter or Hot Fly or anything like that. So she's going to be coming back, and she did enjoy it, and she's actually looking into getting a new camera just to be able to shoot for us, so which is pretty cool. And yeah, it was a very good experience having my wife there and being able to share that experience with her. But she has the same takeaways that I did, that it was not a fun night to be a Charlotte FC fan or someone who just supports this club in any way. Just starting things off, Luke, it's the same exact starting lineup as last week, and with obviously Jalen Lindsay and Bill Tuilamas in the back line still, with Nathan Byrne and Addison Malanda still out. So no changes as far as the lineup went, and Dean touched on that in his post-game press conference. He went with the same team that got a win last week. So this was a very strange game in the first 20, 30 minutes of the match. I will say that realistically, we've seen Charlotte lose under Dean Smith, but I don't think I've ever seen this team defeated, like with their mentality, the way they were on Sunday night. It was just evident throughout the entire match, to be completely honest with you, and it was evident from the first. I mean, Charlotte controlled the first 15 minutes of the match, but it was there wasn't nothing really to write home about at all in the first half. It was until the 31st minute when Minnesota gets their goal off of a half volley, and you go into halftime down 1-0. You're still thinking, or at least I was, you're still thinking, you know what? This under Dino, this team's still gonna fight, and they're gonna come back. And then in the 49th minute, you go down 2-0, and you're like, okay, well, the streak is looking at very high risk. And then just 4 minutes later, they add a third, and you're like, okay, the streak is over.
Yeah. And I will throw out there, man, it's really odd to look at the stats for this game, because we came away with 57% possession. And when you look at the attacking momentum throughout the game, we dominated the first half with attacking momentum and really the majority of the game. So that backs up the possession statistic. But I don't recall us really doing anything with that possession. I don't think we created very many opportunities. And it seemed like the boys just weren't in it. You can say that, like I said, from the opening kick, the supporter section wasn't wholeheartedly into it. Obviously, extenuating circumstances there. It's a Sunday night. It's a school night. It's been raining all day, so a lot of people thought it was going to be raining throughout the game. It really put a damper on the festivities. There was no supporters tailgate before the game, so maybe folks weren't as lubricated as they would normally be. Whatever the excuses are, the team shouldn't need that to be successful. They shouldn't need the energy. That should be a bonus. That's something that we bring to the table, and that's part of what led to our 14-game unbeaten streak at the stadium. But we're going to have off nights. There's going to be rainy days, and those guys need to dig down and find the energy, the internal motivation. To possess the ball 57% and do so little with it is just disappointing. And when you look at the overall, SofaScore has some kind of a metric. It's called match difficulty. So it'll give you shades of red, gray, or green going, in a positive or negative direction for each game. And it's just one line per game. And this was the most red, most negative difficulty game that we've had this season. Cincinnati was about a push. Columbus was our highest green. And then this game against Minnesota was the highest red, or the lowest red. I'll let you go ahead and tell me what you saw in the first half and kind of give us a little play-by-play or some highlights.
Yeah, honestly, there's really nothing to pick out. I'll be completely honest with you. And I want to piggyback off of what you just said as far as, the team just looking flat. I did go to the post-game press conference with Dean, and then the only player to speak was Captain Westwood. So I want to play this real quick. This is Ashley Westwood when asked about, what was it to Sunday night that was ultimately the downfall? Was it the lack of attendance? Was it was it just a mentality thing? And this is what Ashley Westwood had to say.
No, the warm up was intense. We felt good, but like I said, it did feel. The manager said it in there. It did feel flat. So that's down to us as individuals. We can't rely on the fans to. They do their job week in, week out. We need to do ours as well. And tonight it was unlike us tonight. That wasn't the Charlotte what we've seen this season. So we'll be sure to put that right next week.
So right there, I mean, that's actually saying, this was not like us, and we'll be sure to make sure this doesn't happen. And I want to put this caveat in there that these things do happen in the course of a season. You're going to come out and you're just gonna lay an egg. It happens to every team, regardless of who you are. And so that is a very real thing. But I do want to just touch on some of the specifics here, Luke. Enzo Capetti has gone 10 games without a goal. Okay? He was subbed out in the 61st minute for Nikola Pekovic, and Enzo was visibly frustrated coming off, and Dean was asked about that in the post-game press conference, and he's like, yeah, anytime a striker's not scoring, they're going to be upset, But to me, at one point of this game, we seen Pat and Enzo on the field at the same time, obviously chasing the game. But what do we have to do to get Enzo off of the scoring or get him on the scoring sheet? I know our good friend of the show, Lynn, who's always on with us for spaces, and I love Lynn, and he is a very, very, very devout Enzo supporter, and I love that about him. But he defends Enzo more than probably anybody that I know. And I agree with a lot of points that he brings up as far as not getting the service in, because he's not getting great service. But when your designated player number 9 is 10 games scoreless and doesn't, to be honest with you, Luke, in my perspective, doesn't even look threatening. It was not threatening in the first half in any way, shape, or form. There's a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I hear various defenses of Enzo. You can say that he's a poacher, that, he needs that chaos around him to create an opportunity. But then when we see him have the ball in those kind of chaotic moments, he, isn't hitting the ball in form. He's not opening his hips. He's not slotting the ball where it needs to go. He's kicking it right back into the keeper. And, he kicks it over the net. He dribbles out his possession and doesn't make anything happen. I don't know. I mean, to me, I've been saying this since the preseason, man. Like, just having a DP whose only goals are off of penalty kicks, that's not good enough for me. I need to see goals in the open run of play to be impressed. And really, man, I want to see like those Insigne goals. I want to see those crazy 25-yarders, those golazos that make you stand up and cheer. Just grabbing a rebound and slotting it home. I mean, we got Ajman. He's, 6'7". He can do that all day. I don't know, man. But he can also create on his own. He can body guys out of the way. And we just go back and forth with this team, right? It's like we haven't found a definitive answer at striker. We have not found our scoring threat. And it frustrates me to hear the fans talk about, maybe we can get Swiderski back from loan. Maybe Swiderski will come back to Charlotte. He's gone, man. Stop pining after your ex. It's over. That relationship is done. He's not coming back, and nor should he. He was nothing special in MLS. He is not worth a DP slot. He's not. He scored 10 goals a game. Great. We can have non-DP players who can score 10 goals a game. Ajman's going to score 10 goals a season. Not a game. 10 goals a season. And that's fine, but we're paying him $70,000, and Enzo is getting paid considerably more than that. From a DP, I don't want 10 goal production. I want 15. I want 20. I mean, impress me in all competitions. I want to see more. And if Enzo's not the guy, I mean, Look, man, this time last year, I was bashing the head coach. I was saying that it wasn't a good fit. We shouldn't have brought the head coach back. He wasn't a fit for the talent on the roster. And I think I'm at that point this year with Enzo. I think we shouldn't have brought him back. I think he's not a fit for the talent on the roster. I don't necessarily see it getting better. I'm not sure what you can do to help him out more than what you've already done. We have Liel Abada. Kerwin Vargas is starting to find his form again like we knew he would. But what are you going to do about Enzo? I think right now the best thing you could do for Enzo is to find him a new home.
Yeah, and just to kind of throw out another take, I think the one thing you could possibly do to help out Enzo is have a productive number 10.
Sure.
And let me just read this off to you. This is your attacking spine. This was their foot mob ratings. Enzo Capetti, 5.6. Brek de Hachre, 5.9. Jabril Gianni, 5.9. That is not going to win any games whatsoever. So Sam from Soccer Sheet, shout out to Sam, asked Dean in the press conference after the game about Diani and him coming off in the 61st minute. And he if you listen to our spaces, if you have it, it's on our podcast feed. You can go back and listen to it. But Sam, brought this up in the spaces that he asked Dean why he took him off, and Dean did say, hey, this is not where I want my number 6 to play. I don't want my number 6 all the way up the field and stuff. And he did say that. But I will say that what Sam didn't mention, that Dean did say was, he just looked leggy. Like he just looked a bit slow. And I have to agree with Dean on that 100%. He did not look like the Jabril Gianni that we have seen so far this season. He did look a step off. Every one of these players did, though. It's not just Diani. It was everyone. Bill Tulioma had not a good game, and we missed Addison Malanda significantly. He played a 5.8. Christian Colino with a 5.6. The highest rated player for this team was split between Jalen Lindsey and Ashley Westwood and Kerwin Vargas, all with a 6.6. That was the highest rated players. Oof. Everybody's in the orange. You look at Minnesota United, every single person on their starting 11 is in the green above a 7, and you have one blue at the 9.1 with Laud with a goal and 2 assists. And they gave up the one goal in the first half, and then the second goal they gave up, the guy was offsides. He just was. I don't understand VAR anymore. I thought I did. I don't understand it anymore, but he was definitely offsides, and it wasn't called. But so when you go down 2-0, it's just and not only that, but it was flat. I understand. There was 27,000 in attendance, and I get it.
That was 20,007. Sorry. 27,000 tickets sold. There were absolutely not 27,000 in attendance. That was the ticket number.
That's what I was getting ready to say.
I mean, if there was 13,000, I'd be surprised.
Yeah, and that's what I was getting ready to say is, all the things that you said earlier as far as it being a school night, it being rainy, it being cold, all that plays into this. But I want to challenge the fan base as well. What we seen out of this team was not good enough, and Ashley Westwood hit the nail on the head. That this fan base shows up game in and game out, so they have to do the same. I want to challenge this fan base because this fan base did not show up this game, and this was the first time I will actually say this about this club and the supporters of this club, because for the past 3 years they've shown up every single game. Saying every single game, regardless of results, they were there. They were not there this game. Again, with the caveat of it being a Sunday, I get all that, but to have only 18 to probably realistically, like you said, probably like 18 to 20,000 at most in the stands, it's to me it's a tough look when you have that in the stands and then the product that was on the field. I think it was just an all around horrible night for Charlotte FC.
Yeah, and I asked in the spaces, and we referenced that. If you guys want to join in the Twitter spaces, we do it after every Charlotte FC game, home or away. I will post it on my Twitter feed at LVLUP_Luke. So you can schedule it, add it to your calendar. It's, normally around an hour, hour and a half after the game ends. And we were talking on that spaces about, what would you tell a first-time attendee? What would you tell my date or your wife who was doing the photography for us? Thanks for coming out. I hope you had a great time. Please come again. Come see another game, because this was not what Charlotte FC is. That's what you would tell them. So, I mean, that's all we got, man.
No.
Like, that wasn't it.
Yeah, I agree. And I've never not done a Crown of the Day award, but I've been sitting here racking my brain trying to think about who to give a
got
Crown
one.
of the Day award to.
If I can give a crown,
Who you got?
I already mentioned it, man. The TIFO committee, who shows up every game, and the vast majority of our home games, we've had a new and interesting lights out TIFO, and they really held it down for the supporters this last game. Like I said, they were the only bright spot in the pregame festivities, and really for the supporters group in general. I know there's some drama. I know that there was no tailgate lot, but I hope this hammers home to not only the supporters but the Charlotte FC organization how important it is to engage with our supporters council and our supporters groups, for all parties to be on the same page, for our supporters group to hold their individual members accountable, and to keep organizing and keep fighting to support this club, because the supporters section, that end of the stadium, is the beating heart and soul of the Charlotte FC fan base. We cannot understate how important they are. And yeah, they had a bad game, but you know what? It happens. Like you said, I can't be too mad at it. I don't think it was the coach's fault, for some of these results this season. If we could have had our roster ironed out before the season started and they could have practiced together for a preseason, can you imagine how good the squad would be right now? As it is, our most important piece didn't even join the team until like 2 weeks ago. I mean, it's crazy to think. Yeah. But the TIFO committee is my crown of the day. Just absolutely great work. I've seen some previews for the future TIFOs, and it's going to be amazing all season. I'm so happy and proud of them for the work they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to give a crown, I would have to agree with you. It's a phenomenal TIFO. I mean, just like you said, it was the TIFO was really, 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 really well done and very creative. So I mean, I'd have to agree with you. Let's move on from this very somber. We did have some other games. We'll start with the Charlotte Independents that played Saturday. They played to a 0-0 draw. How did you watch this game and your thoughts on this game?
I did not. I caught up with some of the supporters, and it was a tight game. It was back and forth. Omaha looked to be the better side, but we had Austin Pack doing Austin Pack things, and he held it down. That was the only Charlotte side that earned a point this past weekend, was the Charlotte Independents. So up the Jacks, shout out. They advanced to the fourth round of the U.S. Open Cup, as I mentioned earlier. They're going to play their pool included Charleston Battery. It included Atlanta United. It included, obviously, the Charlotte Independents, and I believe NCFC was in the same pool. And we drew, apparently Charlotte Independents did not enter themselves to be a host this round. That's an optional thing. The individual clubs can volunteer to host a game, and we've done that the past few rounds, but this round they did not. So Atlanta United was drawn as the first host, and we were drawn as their opponent. So the boys are going down to play at the Atlanta United 2, the MLS Next Pro side venue outside of Atlanta, and I believe that's a Tuesday night coming up here. What is that, May 7th? 2 weeks from when we're recording this. I know that I'm looking at potentially going down for that. a few of the boys from the Mech Reserves are looking to go down for that. So if that is something you're interested in, please DM me or at Mech Reserves for more information. If you've not joined the Mech Reserves, you should absolutely do that. Get access to the exclusive Slack server where we plan all of our adventures, and hold it down at American Legion Memorial Stadium. So the Independents are doing well. They're sitting in playoff position at the moment, and they've been consistently earning points, although there are some other sides that have a game in hand, so we need to keep it up. Speaking of game in hand, I think Greenville's played as many games this season as anybody. Can you tell me about their match this past weekend?
Yeah, so the Triumph played at South Georgia Tormenta FC, which is a mouthful, in the 19th edition of the Peach States Derby. And the Triumph kept a clean sheet and won 3-0. And, I mean, it was just an all-around great performance. Liam McCannon gets a brace again, and his third brace of the season, which, this guy is just absolutely killing it right now in USL League One. And they do play at home this Saturday, and I will be in attendance. So if you are, I think I tweeted this out, but if you are in the upstate of South Carolina area, and Charlotte FC is going to be playing in New York, if you want to come watch some soccer, the Jägermeister Cup, or the League One Cup, whatever you want to call it, is kicking off this Saturday at April 27th at 7 p.m. at Paladin Stadium, and they'll be playing the Richmond Kickers. And, yeah, they'll be looking to get off to a good start in that competition. And, I'm very excited about it. But, yeah, they win 3-0. Another clean sheet for Greenville. Greenville has gotten off to a really, really hot start in the league, with their lone loss obviously being to the Independents. And, yeah, I mean, just a good performance all around from the boys in Greenville. And looking forward to going to watch some soccer Saturday night.
That's awesome, man. We mentioned it a few episodes ago that League One, USL League One, is experimenting with a in-season tournament. That may sound familiar. MLS's back tournament did something similar. The NBA has been doing an in-season tournament for the last few years. It's a trendy new thing, and from what I've been told by the USL media relations, and I believe the USL 1 president was actually the one who said it, this is going to be a trial for the USL organization. If they're successful with the USL 1 in-season tournament, they want to spread it out and make it a multi-level competition, potentially with USL Championship, if they expand and add a third professional division, including that one as well. So they can make it a mini, like FA Cup type environment, or whatever type of European equivalent that would be. But just within the USL organization, you could have a little bit of drama and adventure partway through the season. And maybe that's the Combat Leagues Cup. I'm not quite sure. But I think it would be even cooler if they could eventually get to include the Canadian Premier League along with the USL sides, and maybe some other representatives from North or Central or the Caribbean area, America. So I think it's really cool. They have a lot of marketing. They brought on a few sponsors, including the title sponsor is Jägermeister. This has the coolest logo for any, commercial cash grab tournament that I've ever seen. It's the Jaeger Stag. And, dude, I have not had Jaeger since college, but I promise you I will be indulging to support soccer, because Charlotte is a soccer city. So we got to show up for Jägermeister and really show them that it's worthwhile to sponsor this kind of a tournament. So I will raise a shot glass of liquid victory, and I hope you will join me as we support my Charlotte Independence, your Greenville Triumph, and soccer in the Carolinas, man. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and just to touch base on that, the Independents do also play Saturday in the Jägermeister Cup, but they play Tormenta down in Georgia, so that'll be something else to look out for on Saturday. A lot of soccer going on Saturday night. Luke, before we hop out of here, I know this was not a very usual episode from us as far as breaking down the FC game pretty significantly. But you got any thoughts that you want to get off your chest before we head out of here?
I would love to tell you that I do. I'm going to take the middle road here, and I'm not going to give you a sermon. Shout out to Danny Brams. If you guys want to check out the Charlotte Soccer Show and hear a little sermon on their YouTube page, the pregame show, he shared his feelings with some of the drama in the supporter groups. You're not going to hear that from me. I think I want to reassure our community, our friends, our fellow Charlotte FC fans, the sky's not falling. Dino's in control. And sometimes your team just gets beat. That's the nature of sports, man. I mean, we've seen it. You're a South Carolina Gamecocks fan. I'm an Alabama Crimson Tide fan. Sometimes your team just lays an egg. I don't know what to tell you, man. It happens in all different sports. That Alabama-South Florida game last year, I still remember exactly where I was, and I gave up all hope on the season. Alabama turned it around. They did pretty good. And I think Charlotte FC can do the same thing. We got Dean. We have a captain in Ashley Westwood who is going to hold it down. I think there may have been some complacency. I've said previously I'm sick of Dean saying that we were the better team and just didn't get the result. I want to see a little bit more fire. Don't let the refs decide the game. Go out and win it. Finish your chances. Score more goals. And now this is the most resounding defeat we've had. I'm hoping it's a wake-up call for the team. And a wake-up call for this fan base, honestly. We need to do better. The team needs to do better. We can and we will. I believe in us. Cole, any thoughts?
Yeah, man. I would like to say just everybody take a step back, take a deep breath. It's going to be okay. Like you said, I won't harp on it, but these things do happen, and you have to look. If we had seen this 2, 3, 4 times throughout this season, I would be sitting here very, very concerned. But the fact that this is the first time that this has happened, and I think I think that it's a one-off. You're going up to New York to play NYCFC, a team that you've already beat this year, and historically you always play well against. And not only that, then you come home for 5 straight home games. So you have a lot of opportunities to pick up some points here coming up. So let's just take a deep breath. Everything's going to be okay. Well, you remember did you ever watch Men in Black?
Yeah, it's been a little while.
But do you remember the little flash thing that erased the memory?
Oh, yeah.
So
take
that little whatever contraption and just to do away with Sunday night, and let's move on. We're moving on. We're gonna stay positive. We had to get this as a therapy Monday or Tuesday. We had to get this out. But yeah, it's let's take a deep breath. Everything's gonna be fine. The sky is not falling yet. I will be very concerned if we're sitting here in 2 or 3 weeks and saying the same thing, though.
Yeah, I feel you. We have some patience now, but we need not only a result. I would say I really want to see a win against NYCFC. That's a team that we have owned historically. They've never beaten us, if memory serves. So yeah, I mean,
Yep,
let's put it on them, man. It's in Yankee Stadium. They don't even play in a real football stadium. I mean, what are they doing up there? Embarrassing. So yeah, let's really give it to them. Small pitch, and that should be conducive for our wingers to get in there, for Leo Abada to cut with his speed, for Vargas to do another backflip or two. We need to see more finishing. We need to see more fireworks, more explosions, more scoring. That is the name of the game. We can't beat anybody if we're not putting the pressure on them and converting our opportunities. Whew. All right, I got that off my chest.
Yeah, wonderfully said. And I'm good if you're good, man.
You know what? I want to give my award for the week to Austin Pack. He's the one who brought back a point for Charlotte this weekend. I think we got to recognize the Charlotte Independents and tell folks, if you are not coming out to American Legion Memorial Stadium yet for the Charlotte Independence games, it's not too late. There's plenty of season left. They do not overlap with Charlotte FC. I mean, maybe 1 or 2 games a year, but like, it's fun for the whole family. The tickets are cheap. They're always running specials on tickets. You can get out there and see quality soccer. You can see the best goalkeeper in Charlotte play in basically the only soccer-specific stadium in Charlotte. Have fun. See the Independents. I've been going to Crown Legacy, man. It's not a great time either right now. They're not finishing. They're not scoring this year either. So, there needs to be a change in the training or the mentality. I'm sick of the red cards with Crown Legacy. I'm sick of the missed PKs. We need to see goals in the run of play for the second team and for the first team. So until then, man, It's up to Jax.
Yep, and together with Triumph and for the Crown. We'll see you guys next time.
Later.